Is the Rogue Trader era Land Raider the best Land Raider? So the original Rogue Trader Land Raider kit was released in the latter parts of 1988, around September I believe. However, there was one Land Raider model which was not released, and that was shown in the Rogue Trader rulebook. Let me see if I can find that for you. I'm still looking. Okay, we better start that again. Here we are, it's this one, and this one is affectionately known as the Hellfire Land Raider these days. I don't know who came up with that name. It says, the Land Raider is a multi-role combat vehicle designed to cope with most situations that the galaxy can throw at it. Its wide tracks can move easily over loose or dangerous ground, while its plastine, I have no idea what plastine is, I think we might have changed that to plasteel in the later versions of the game. Its plastine encased body can hold up to 10 crew in relative comfort. Now, I think we move away from comfort in later editions of 40k. Also of note, this original Land Raider only had a single las cannon on each side, as opposed to the double las cannons of the later variants. Also of note, the Land Raider used to be available to far more factions than just the Space Marines. You would have the Imperial Guard, who had access to them, and interestingly, you would often see them in Eldar Harlequin armies. Well, I say often, you could see them. So would you like to see other factions be able to use the Land Raider again? Now that Primaris Marines have moved on to new things, does that mean that other people can have the hand-me-down Land Raider? The hand-me-down Land Raiders. I would like to see the Imperial Guard have access to Rhinos and Land Raiders again. That would be something. From the beginning of time, man has believed that the stars control his fate. Through their movements, people have seen future events and intimations of the will of their gods. In the 41st millennium, billions still watch the sky fearfully, searching for a portent of doom. But in this time, they have reason to fear. From the stars come ships, some to trade, many to wage war. Most feared of all the ships are the ships of the legions Astartes, gravid with their cargo of death. The Land Raiders of the Space Marines bursting upon the unsuspecting, roaring like thunder and burning all before them. The Space Marines are rightly feared by ordinary folk, for their presence signifies death as surely as the plague bells of Phobos. The images of the Space Marines and the Land Raider battle tank are forever meshed in the popular imagination. In some cultures, the vehicles are portrayed as chariots of destruction, ridden upon the solar winds by the angels of death, poised throughout the galaxy, ready to crush the serpent of chaos. Mysticism is an important part of everyday life in the Imperium. A 20th century man might recognise in the Land Raider nothing more than a huge battle tank, a mere engine of war. But the men of the 41st millennium are wiser. They know that every Land Raider has its own spirit and its own destiny. Whether a Land Raider is built in the Martian weapon shops of the Adeptus Mechanicus or in the armories of the Space Marines, its purity and spiritual welfare are given as much attention at every stage of construction as its mechanical aspects. A wildcat or other locally obtainable predator is sacrificed within its ceramite framework. Armoured panels are inscribed with runes of protection as they are reverently bolted in place. Components are checked and blessed before assembly. As each Land Raider grinds towards the end of the production line, preparations are made for the ceremony of commission. Land Raiders are delivered to the Space Marines, the Imperial Guard, the Inquisition, the Adeptus Arbites, to certain rogue traders, and to other more secret and obscure Imperial bodies. Space Marine Land Raiders are handed over to a Tech Marine, or Freighter Astrotechnicus to use the proper title. In other cases, it will be accompanied to its new home by an Adeptus Mechanicus Technomat, a human machine programmed with the knowledge required to service his charge. For many technicians, the commission represents the culmination of years of training, learning how to divine the runes of engineering, memorizing the liturgy of maintenance, and studying the routine of service. If a Marine Land Raider should be lost, its Tech Marine offers prayers of mourning for its spirit. If a Tech Marine is slain, his Land Raider must be reconsecrated by one of his technical brethren. In the field, this is often done by simply taking a ring bearing the vehicle's serial runes from the dead Tech Marine, and the full reconsecration takes place later. The Land Raider is ideally suited to the style of warfare favoured by Space Marines. Like the Marines themselves, the vehicle is capable of fighting in almost any environment. The Land Raider also offers protection and transport for a squad of troops, as well as carrying many of their supplies and backup equipment. On death worlds and in other harsh environments, the Land Raider becomes a vital life support unit, as well as a fighting machine. In battle, the squad normally disembark, leaving the Land Raider and its Tech Marine crew to fight independently. Its adaptability allows it to fight in a variety of roles. Where appropriate, a single Land Raider or a small group will be sent forward with troops in order to provide covering fire and support. On other occasions, Land Raiders from several companies are brought together into huge armoured formations, ready to do battle with enemy vehicles or defences. Marines are warriors of a wholly practical devotional order. Whilst their endless liturgies and prayer may appear to the uninitiated to be mere superstition, they serve an important and real function. For example, while preserving the accumulated experience of millennia, the doctrinal law of camouflage schemes is not so dogmatic as to prevent the adoption of appropriate or innovative colours and patterns where appropriate. So, while there are innumerable official or approved colour schemes, there are also many which have been evolved by individual chapters to meet their particular requirements in certain situations. Some Space Marine chapters adhere rigidly to the traditional patterns. The chapter of the Red Scorpions not only sticks strictly to the law of camouflage handed down from their original founding and embodied in the Codex Imperialis, but views any deviance from this practice as tantamount to heresy. This has led to the Red Scorpions actually refusing to fight alongside other Marine chapters on a number of occasions, one of the reasons why they were mostly confined to space lane duties during the Badab War. The commanders of the Imperial Guard are less stringent about such things than Marines, and will sometimes design their own schemes for a specific campaign. Wherever they may be serving, Land Raiders may sometimes appear garish in comparison to the camouflage schemes evolved for use in the limited range of combat environments offered by 20th century Earth. A Land Raider camouflaged for use in the spectacular cobalt chromate deserts of Galen 5, for instance, would be highly conspicuous in a yellow-brown silicon oxide desert beneath Earth's yellow sun. Many schemes show no attempt at camouflage as such, but consist of solid heraldic colours, proclaiming the identity of the occupants as surely as the shield of a medieval knight. Indeed, there are some Marine chapters whose tradition actually forbids the use of camouflage on the grounds that the colours of cowardice are wholly inappropriate to a true warrior. This attitude, although by no means rare amongst the legions Astartes, is not officially recognised and is not embodied within the ancient Codex Imperialis. Most strange of all are the fully pictorial designs painted onto land raiders both by Marines and by the Imperial Guard. These take the form of actual paintings of battle scenes or of famous events in the history of the unit concerned. Although this is a spectacular example of vehicle decoration, machines rarely enter the battle zone wearing such lavish paint schemes. Also of note in my Rogue Trader rulebook, it says here on page 130 that if you're enjoying this video, you should hit the like button or even subscribe to the channel. That means you, Stephen. If you are enjoying the content here on the channel, then please consider joining the Patreon, the link to which is in the description below and up here. The Land Raider is typically equipped with 2 power fields, a power field synchronizer, an auto aim, an auto drive, an auto fac, a targeter for the starboard's weapon sponson, a targeter for the port weapon sponson, a communicator, a sensor package which consists of a bioscanner, energy scanner and a rad counter, ejector seats and a medipack. The Land Raider is typically armed with 4 las cannon, of which are 2 synchronised las cannon in each weapon sponson and 2 heavy bolt guns. The Land Raider's main armament is mounted in 2 sponsons to the left and right of the vehicle. Each sponson can cover an arc of 180 degrees to each side of the vehicle. Point defence armament consists of 2 heavy bolt guns. These may be mounted singly or paired at the front and or rear of the upper superstructure. The front mounting covers an arc of 90 degrees to the vehicle's front, and the rear mounting covers an arc 90 degrees to the vehicle's rear. The Land Raider is also fitted with 2 special grenade launchers mounted on both sides of the hull. A Land Raider in the scheme of the Imperial Guard 8th Regiment, the Necromundan Spiders. This is a Codex Incept pattern, used unmodified by the 8th Company in the Gletscher Iceworld incident. Here we see an Imperial Guard 7th Regiment Lucky Sevens Land Raider, painted in a Codex Incept pattern. This is a Legions Astartes Red Scorpions Land Raider, painted in a Codex-approved cobalt ammonium desert camouflaged as used in the Galen 5 suppression. This is a Legions Astartes Dark Angels Land Raider, painted for a temperate variable terrain camouflage as used in the defence of Straton, the last tyrannic war. This is a Legions Astartes Blood Angels Land Raider, painted in desert camouflage as used in the assault on Bantax. A Legions Astartes Raptor Legion Land Raider, painted in temperate camouflage schemes. Winter variant as used in the Agamemnon Revolt of the 4th Quadrant Rebellion. So that was the original Land Raider. What did you think of that? Did you know it used to come in a pack of 2 originally, and I think they were only £15? Did you ever own one of the Rogue Trader era Land Raiders? If you did, what chapter did it belong to? Or maybe it even belonged to your Harlequins. Have you seen how expensive they are on eBay nowadays? At the time of filming, someone is trying to sell one in a box for £600. That is ridiculous. It's not even the original Rogue Trader era box, it's the 2nd edition box, which no one really wants. Have you ever sold one on eBay? If so, how much did you get for it? I stupidly sold one in an original box way back when I needed some money and I was out of the hobby, and I think I got about £40 for it. That was a bad move. My advice is don't sell any of your stuff, because normally you'll end up getting back into the hobby later on and wish you hadn't. If you want to see some more Oldhammer, and I know you do, then check out the playlist up here somewhere. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.